What do you think of counting on your fingers?
Fingers are wonderful. It's a free manipulative that you've got with you all the time, and conveniently there are 10 of them, which is really important for little kids because lots of the, well, our entire way of notating numbers and our language for the most part is based on a 10. Anyway, it gets a bad rap late in elementary school if you're stuck with it and that's the only thing that you can do. But I think it's wonderful, especially for little kids. Often with finger games are great with young children, second graders even, third graders, depending on what you're doing with them. So with some of the preschoolers, I'll ask, how old are you? And they'll often say, I'm 5, or I'm 4. And to a 4-year-old, I always say, so you're that old? And they almost always say, no, I'm 4. And part of the game is, or to 5-year-olds, you're that old? 5. So part of the game is realizing that it's not the hand signal that says what number it is, but the number of fingers. That is 5. So let's see, we can count them. And the child counts. And the child knowing that there are 5 fingers on a hand actually becomes important later on. To a kindergarten child, you might say to put up 8 fingers. And the child who does that clearly knows a fact. I mean, the child may not have coded it that way in his or her head. This is 5 and 3. But that's a piece of information. That's 8 fingers. Of course, you'll also see kindergarten children trying to make their fingers stay 10. There's a lot of work to putting up the right number of fingers. Can you show me 3 a different way? Like that. That's a really telling thing because a young enough child will say no. That's the only way of showing 3 because to that child it's a hand signal. Later on, how many fingers don't you see? This is more for your K or 1 child. How many fingers don't you see? Well, initially they might actually be looking at the configuration of the hand, but when they're really good at knowing that this is 7 fingers that we're seeing, getting into their head that 3 fingers are hidden is the beginning of knowing a set of facts, 3 plus 7, and playing the game alternatively. How many fingers don't you see? How many fingers don't you see? How many fingers don't you see? Is practicing this 3-7 fact, or 2